We're separating truths from lies regarding the NFC in Week 1 today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. One issue, big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate you all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app.
300 big ones.
Yeah.
I did a against the spread pick 'em in week 1. I went 10-6.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I was very proud.
Excellent
week 1 lies to you though. Setting the stage.
So
we did the AFC yesterday. Week 1 lies versus week 1 truths in how teams performed, and clerical note. This is not to say that a team did or did not do good in that first game, but it's the sustainability across a 17-game schedule that is the subject of what we're talking about here, right? Like, we could talk about Eagles-Cowboys, like we're going to start today, and how Philadelphia's passing game, is that who they are? Are they going to get better than that? Is it a lie? Well, Dallas and what they showed. So let's start with this Eagles-Cowboys game, which was played last Thursday, 6 days ago already, Joe.
Feels like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Starting the NFL season with Jalen Carter and Dak Prescott spitting on each other.
Hey, you know what we're not going to do?
Talk much about that.
Get into Spitgate.
Yeah.
The Eagles win this game by a final score of 24-20. There was the lightning delay that was very unfortunate for the season opener. It took a lot of the wind out of my sails. I did stay up and watch the game, but
took the wind out of the sails of the teams. They just punted back and forth to close it out after
3 points in the entire second half.
It was like a punt fest. Like, what's going on here?
I think your concern, if you're Philly, is A.J. Brown and his involvement, also his movement. I know he was banged up in the preseason or in training camp. I think it was a hamstring. Is Philly going to be egging out close games like this? Are they going to perform at a higher level? Was this a truth or a lie for you for Philadelphia?
I think what's true is that there's a lot for them to sort out with some of their key elements of their team that they lost last year, right? I mean, not only was there a lot of turnover with that defensive line, they lose their best player in Jalen Carter before the game even starts. And so I think there's some truth to reestablishing what that rotation looks like and finding out who your pillars are going to be. So I think there is some truth to that, but I think the lie is that A.J. Brown in this passing game is going to struggle like it did. I think we've seen A.J. Brown have these moments, right? There's been some times where he's been heated and he's concerned about his involvement, and it changes and they're fine. So I think that's going to take care of itself.
From Dallas' side of things, they hold Saquon Barkley to 60 yards on 18 carries for less than 3.5 yards per rush. Jerry talked about being better against the run.
They were.
I do think they'll be better against the run.
Yeah.
I do think that's a sustainable piece of this puzzle. I thought Dallas came out and played really inspired. And obviously there was some haymakers, and Hurts outside of structure with his legs was what really felt like it tagged him in a lot of key spots throughout the course of this game. Buying or selling Dallas sustaining as a potential wild card contender, because that's probably where you're going if they're going to drop games to Philly.
Well, I think if Dak plays at the level he did throughout the season, Absolutely. I thought Dak was phenomenal. I don't. The box score is not going to tell you that, but
he was 23 Dak all over again.
Oh, geez, he was phenomenal, dude. And so I think that's the biggest thing is if that's true, this team's going to have a chance to win a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
CeeDee's not going to drop balls like he did in that game regularly. We know CeeDee's a better player than that.
My last one for you before we move on to the next game. Philly had 110 yards in penalties in this game. Some teams just fight that, and it's because of kind of the edge that they play with.
Yeah. Oh, the taunting stuff that exists now in the league,
Well, yeah, plus the pregame stuff, and I mean, there's a lot of discipline stuff that they kind of have a bravado about their team. Their coach has a bravado about their team. Obviously, the Nolan Smith taunting was, I thought, really dumb, if we're being honest. So I don't want to sit here and just use like blanket statement like Philly played undisciplined and really reckless, but it's 110 yards and penalties, a lot of penalties.
You talk about bravado. I mean, what could puff your chest out more than being the reigning Super Bowl champions, right? Yeah. I mean, so they'll have to work through that, but they certainly talented enough to overcome it, but that's probably going to be part of their story. All right.
Next game.
Bucs Falcons.
Yeah.
And I guess geez. Yeah. Baller. Absolute baller. I think my prevailing thought coming out of this game from Tampa side is that Baker lived pretty dangerously in this game. He got away with a lot.
Yep, he did.
And you kind of forget he led the league in interceptions last year.
Because it came with all the other
4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns, right? Like, let's not lose sight of that. But he's got to find that right blend of aggression and taking care of the ball.
And I'm okay with some of those growing pains because you had another transition at offensive coordinator, right? Like you brought in Josh Grizzard to be the OC. It's week one of that. They didn't really have a lot cooking in the running game. Bucky went 14 for 37. It was one of the surprising. Now, Wirfs didn't play, so you're sympathetic to that.
They moved a bunch of pieces around too with that whole line.
Yeah. They put Barton out at left tackle. So
right,
pretty impressive versatility to have that in your back pocket when it comes time for you to get a second contract.
Yeah. He's on the Elgin Jenkins
make those
plan,
reps
right?
Count, Graham. Go ahead and make those reps count.
So is there truth to Atlanta's run defense potentially being better than we thought it would be with some questionable D tackles?
Ask me when they're not changing multiple starters on the opposing offensive line because of an injury to an all-pro offensive tackle.
So probably.
So I'm not calling it a lie,
right?
But I'm not saying it's the truth yet either.
Dude, you know who's a baller? Is Caden Ellis. Holy, I like that guy, man. This was my game of primary focus at 1:00 on Sunday. So I was really dialed into this one. I'm like, man, Caden Ellis is a dude out there. He was fun.
He was a fun prospect coming out too.
Just kind of wondering, like, where does he settle in? And Atlanta's got to figure it out.
On defense.
Just play him on defense. Yeah, it's a good spot.
Raheem Morris, you give him to Raheem Morris, he'll figure it out, right?
Jeez, man. It's a good football player.
You want to go break and come back to another game?
Yes. So be sure to stick with us.
Oh, good job.
When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Need parts fast for a project? Well, Supply House has next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer. The Part Finder tools and 3D schematics can save you hours on jobs where every detail matters, and you got to love their Trademaster perks like priority shipping and dedicated support that make the whole process smoother. So join the free Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHNFL5, the number 5, for 5% off your first order at supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. The NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle. Between queues, login screens, and prices jumping at checkout, It is frustrating. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast and easy. It's backed by the Game Time guarantee. You're always going to get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. I just use Game Time. I got stuck in Buffalo. Last-minute opportunity to go to Bills-Ravens. I went right to Game Time, was able to find the seats I wanted, got a seat view to make sure it was the view I was looking for, got a great price, sent those tickets right to my phone. It was super simple, and it's just faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way I've ever purchased tickets. So download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today.
Use Game Time for tickets to Temple, Oklahoma on Saturday.
Weird, huh?
We're going.
Let's go.
Scout out John Mateer.
You know me. They're all fake names right now, brother.
The latest Washington State quarterback to transfer to a blue blood program.
Oh, all right. We know where this goes.
John Mateer. Yeah.
All right.
They just beat Michigan at home last weekend. Mateer was outstanding in that game.
All right. Well, hope you enjoy it, sir.
Thanks. Panthers. Do you talk about it from the Panthers side of things? That's a game we touched a little bit on yesterday. Might be a good way to get segment 2 feet wet.
Yeah. The question for Carolina. Well, geez, there's so much.
I was going to say, what do you mean?
Yeah, no. I tried to boil it down to one thing. I'm like, well, crap. There's a lot. Bryce got it going at late last year. Obviously, you don't feel like he picked it up and ran with it to start this year. Like, do we know the truth on Bryce Young yet?
We're getting close, but no. That infamous Denny Green quote is ringing in my ear right now about being who we thought they were. But it's 1 week. You don't want to overreact. There was a significant sample. But, man, if we get to October and this is what Bryce Young is playing like, then, yeah, I think we do know what Bryce Young is.
Do you think the investment there and all they traded to get him just makes this the longest leash that you could possibly have? Like, he can't go do the reclamation thing and be something for someone else, not with what you gave up to get him.
Well, I think they'll probably see through the contract, but they have a reasonable backup in Andy Dalton, and there should be some perceived pressure to win in Carolina. Right? Like, I understand, like, you've had a bunch of juggling pieces, but that owner spent a lot of money on personnel to come in. Yeah. Even on the defensive side of the ball this year. And I know it's a lot of new, but Ejiro Evero is this so highly regarded defensive assistant. And it did not play out that way against Jacksonville, with Jacksonville rushing for 200 yards in the game.
Yeah, we're 6 yards a carry. That's not, for Carolina Panthers defense, it was one of the worst run defenses in NFL history, one of the worst scoring defenses in NFL history. 26 points isn't a ton. It's not you want to give up less than that, but to me, it's the 200 rushing yards and 6 yards a clip.
Right.
Almost 9 yards a clip to ETN on 16 rushes. You didn't get a sack. You had one quarterback hit. You don't feel like you're any closer on defense right now. Yeah. Concerned. I'm concerned that there's a lot of truth into that performance from Carolina.
And I would lean into there being a lot of truth in that, but it is fair to let it play out as it always is, right?
Of course.
Which is kind of the spirit of the show today. Commanders Giants.
Yeah.
The Russell Wilson thing was exactly what we thought was going to. There's a 1,000,000% truth for a Russell Wilson-led New York Giants offense with Brian Daboll. He had issues with Daniel Jones executing his offense. Russ been like this for 4 or 5 years now. It's everything he feared it would be.
Russell Wilson has told us who he is, and my God, NFL, believe him. Stop thinking that the player that was at Seattle is in there. It's not. Seattle knew how to deal with him. You're not going to get him for a 1-year bridge and figure it all out. Stop wasting your time here.
Well, and there was an interesting point that was brought up yesterday when I'm driving to and from dad drop off. NBC Sports Talk Radio is on in my car, and it's Pro Football Talk in the mornings. Mike Florio. And Florio made an interesting point yesterday about, I think it was yesterday, about Russell Wilson. And when you sign yourself up for Russ and he's the starter, and then you make the change, the PR stuff starts coming. Like in Seattle, it was Pete Carroll and the friction with Pete Carroll when Russ got bad. And then he goes to Denver, and there was the whole thing about him getting, what was it, asked to take a pay cut or to surrender his guarantees. And a bunch of leaks start happening about what's going on with Russ. And it's funny that we kind of questioned Mike Tomlin last year for Fields plays reasonably well at the start of the season. Then Russ comes in and it's Russ, and they ride Russ the rest of the way. And it's, well, if you promise if you promise Russ is going to come in and be the starter, and then you make him not the starter, you're going to get it through the media, because that's been the playbook the last couple places where it hasn't worked out. And now you as the Giants have put yourself in a position where you should be wanting already to see Jackson Dart, and you're a coach on the hot seat, and you have Russ completing 46% of his passes and just not really executing an offense that Brian Daboll wants a guy that can run it. It's a bad spot to be in.
We knew this when they signed him. We knew this. And so when you bench Russ, you bench and you release Russ, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
simple.
That's why the value of keeping Jameis Winston, right, is
100%.
And yeah. I'm with you 100%. When you're ready to make that decision, whether that's trading Russ to somebody else for the rest of his 1-year deal, maybe get a late pick out of it, or you release him if you can, because you don't want the distraction in the locker room.
What do you make of this Washington, the Giants run defense? They give 220 rushing yards to the the Giants rushing offense gave up 220 rushing yards to Washington.
Yeah. Bill. 10 for 82.
Sure, but this was supposed to be a good part of the Giants, right? Like Shane Bowen, they brought him there to be the DC because of the resume he had defending the run. They have players.
Well, you give up 68 to Jaden Daniels. It's the force multiplier of a player of this caliber, right? You can have a great front structure and line up and fit every gap, but when you're +1 in the run game because the quarterback can run,
yeah,
that's what makes it hard. Now, you could look at Eckler had 4.5 yards a carry. McNichols had 6 yards a carry. Debo had 1 for 19 and a rushing touchdown. Yeah. And Krosky Merritt had 8.2 yards per carry, right? Like, it wasn't just that, but it does change the math of how you fit your fronts. I am selling that the Giants rush defense. I think that's a lie that the Giants rush defense is going to be this bad.
What'd you learn about Washington in this game? Not much.
I mean,
won a game they should at home against a bad quarterback.
Won a game you should have at home. Your quarterback looked comfortable. You assimilated Deebo Samuel in a promising way. You dominated the stat sheet. You had almost twice as many yards. You did what you needed to do. Is it a truth or a lie? Did you check Cam Scatterbo's stats?
Whoa, we are not looking well. I forgot about this. What do they need? Like,
oh, that's you thinking I forgot about this.
I know that you wouldn't, but yes, I did.
For -3 for Cam Scatterbo in week 1 against Washington.
So we have 21 yards between Tracy and Scatterbo.
Tracy, and that's on 12 carries. So you're under 2 yards a carry.
So we need like 2,200 and
you got to get busy.
Yeah. All right.
We also need to get busy on this program. You want to try to squeeze another game in before a break, or do you want to go to break?
Cardinals and Saints, real quick on Cardinals and Saints. Get this one out of the way.
Great. Kyler was efficient. Spencer was not. I mean, New Orleans game a game. This was, a 1-score game at halftime, and then
they were never out of it. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, 5
sacks.
sacks.
I think for Arizona, your concern is probably the passing game when at least Marvin Harrison had some life, but your third best pass catcher had 10 yards.
It's exactly the Harrison McBride and nothing else.
And and I think that's fine, but you're going to face teams that have a lot better coverage matrices and options. And that's when I think we're going to find out about how serious Arizona is this year. So I don't think we got a truth or a lie in this game. I think you played a team that is perceived to not have as much talent as you. You went on the road and did it in week 1. Tip your cap. Let's move forward.
Trey Benson made a play. I'm excited.
Yeah, let's go, man.
All right, the rest of the NFC coming up next. Folks, be sure to stick with us. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Check this out. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits however I want to bet, whether that's spreads, over-unders, player props, building same-game parlays, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It just makes everything more exciting, whether you're watching your favorite team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. I also love being able to check in there and see what type of profit boosts exist. They've been having some good things available, so you get in there and it'll be like a 50% profit boost for a particular game or for a same-game parlay. So get in on that action as well. Are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
For symmetry's sake, we should start with the Rams because we started segment 2 with a AFC-NFC matchup, and then we have 3 other games to get to after the Rams. It's 49ers, Seahawks, Packers, Lions, and Vikings, Bears. So Rams, 14-9 win over the Houston Texans.
Stafford's a dude, man. You don't need to practice. He don't need an offseason. He doesn't need a back.
Puka Nacua is a dude.
I know. And Stafford will do that. Stafford will just throw the ball a million times to one guy. And a lot of times teams can't stop it. And I guess when you started your career with Calvin Johnson, that
kind of breeds that psychology, right? And this Houston defense, they chewed everybody up last year. They embarrassed Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff threw 5 picks. 2 threw 3 picks. Did the Bills play him last year? Bills played him last year.
Josh went 9 of 30.
9 of 30. They chewed everybody up last year. It's week 1. So Matt Stafford and Sean McVay have extra time to get ready to play. They had less than 300 yards of offense, but Stafford, efficient, big-time throws, blood in the water, no picks, round of applause.
They're not going to give the ball to anybody besides Kyron Williams, are they? This is not going to happen.
No. You got to trust them, right? And that was funny. The Jarquez Hunter pick was, let's get some explosives in the run game. He didn't even touch the ball.
Nope.
Blake Corum got 1 for 2.
Nope, dude.
But they
on the field
Kyron,
82% of snaps, just like he's been every year since 2023.
They paid Kyron, so they probably feel empowered. Yeah, it's their guy. And they should. I think he gives you a great 3-down menu. It's there's some backs that stay on the field for all 3 downs because of the threat of what they can do in the passing game versus what they actually are in all phases of the passing game. There's some backs who get taken off because teams know what they are or aren't. Kyron Williams is a guy who can actually execute all of it.
Yeah.
And you just live with the lack of explosives, and you're totally fine with that because he's a high football IQ player. He makes good decisions in pass protection, especially against a defense like this. And he's going to get the yards. You block him and then finish hard and probably get a few extra, and that's going to be it.
How about the Rams defense? That's something that we had questions about. They hold Houston to under 10 points. They hold them to 2-9 on third downs, 265 total yards. They got to the red zone once and didn't score a touchdown. Is the Rams defense, is there truth in it being this type of unit?
I think it can be. I think it can be with the front. There's continuity. They don't have a lot of stars on the back end, but they did some great stuff last year with Chris Shula. I like the direction that unit's going.
I still need to see more. I think they caught a Houston team that had everything new offensively, coordinator, new offensive line, new receivers, new running back.
That's true.
So I
got bad news. Ready. They play the Titans this week.
Who does?
The Rams.
Oh, boy. All right.
So we're not going to find out till week 3 when they go to Philly. That'll be our measuring stick.
We'll be ready to go. All right. Niners, Seahawks.
Yeah. Kind of your worst case scenario for Seattle, right? Is 230 yards of offense. Sam Darnold with all that new. We didn't really get anything going running the football. I mean, Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker combined for 22 carries for 67 yards. The interior offensive line questions that existed. It was supposed to be Latini. Jake Sundle wins the job. They ended with Anthony Bradford winning the right guard job. Now, Gray Zabel looked like he played well from what I saw from this game. But, the renewed pieces, Cooper Kupp had 2 for 15 and Elijah Arroyo had 1 for 7. Their second highest pass catcher had 15 yards. Cooper Kupp.
We had questions about San Francisco's defense and Seattle's offense. They faced each other.
Right. And we had questions about San Francisco's offense through the lens of who was available to play.
Right.
And now they're even more banged up.
So a win for the 49ers. I don't know if we learned anything about their defense based on this opponent. And Kittle's out. Purdy willed him a little bit. I think he deserves a lot of credit for the game. Also, don't draft kickers
injuries right now, right?
Yeah, dude. He's got a lot of injuries for a guy that doesn't have a lot of physical skill, which is concerning to me.
I've lived that life. You don't want that.
Don't draft kickers?
Don't draft kickers. I'm officially on board. Don't draft kickers.
You sign Matt Prater off the street, man. I'll go make all his kicks you winning.
Well, and I mean, Moody he's a 3rd-round pick. He's a top 100 pick.
He didn't ask to be a 3rd-round pick. I'm sure he was happy to be a 3rd-round pick, but that's not his fault.
He'll be thankful for it when he gets the rest of what was on his guaranteed contract, too, because he got cut 35 games in. Can't imagine he's going to get picked up off waivers.
Teams are signing kickers left and right now, dude.
Right.
This is crazy.
He had the first one went off the left upright. That was from 26. Last year, he hit 10 out of 20 beyond 40 last year.
Can't go to war with
it. And then misses from 26 off the upright.
Can't do it.
Leash was long enough.
Right.
Our next game, Green Bay at home over the Lions.
Boy, for somebody who's been a champion for the Lions, I don't feel good. Offensive line looked terrible. Defensively, I don't feel it. Their pass rush is just not there. Zadarius Smith's not coming. He plays for a different team, right? He went to the Eagles?
Yeah, he went to the Eagles.
What are we doing, man? What are we doing, Brad Holmes? I mean, your pass rush, your O-line.
What we're doing is we're paying all the guys we drafted, right? Because then the Jameson Williams contract came right on the eve of the season. Did we even really talk about this contract?
No, there's a few of them. Maybe we should do a show this week on some of those.
But you're reaching critical mass with contracts because you've given out a lot of them, and they're the good players, and they're the players you drafted, and I think that needs to be applauded. But the opportunity cost when you're reaching this critical mass, because you need Brian Branch done, you potentially have Sam Laporta to worry about. You didn't get it done with Aiden Hutchinson yet. You have to assume that one's coming. You'll be paying the quarterback, 2 wide receivers, both offensive tackles, a defensive tackle, an edge, the second highest safety contract in the NFL, Brian Branch potentially, a tight end potentially. You're in Jahmyr Gibbs. That's 11 contracts that are
huge,
handsomely rewarded. So that's why you have to feel like that's a piece of the puzzle for where's Zadarius Smith? Well, Zadarius Smith doesn't want to play for vet minimum.
All right. Well, you also don't have pass rush. So, I'm concerned. I'm concerned about Detroit in ways I didn't expect to be.
I think some of this could be expected, though, with the coaching attrition, right? Like you look at the team on paper and you recognize the value and the talent and where you like it. But it's a new offensive coordinator. It's a new defensive coordinator. It's week 1 against Green Bay at home. They just traded for Micah Parsons. So the whole world's all rah-rahed up on Green Bay.
Yeah.
You got new players on the interior offensive line to try to go up against sicko mode Jeff Hafley getting these guys off the leash, right? Like, I'm willing to give Detroit some grace. But the circumstances were a perfect storm for a game in which you did not match up well in this one.
I do wonder if Tanner Engstrand had an option to stay as the OC in Detroit or go to the Jets and be the OC there, because you think he would stay in Detroit, right?
You would think.
Maybe that's where, and Calvin Shepard, I don't know, man. These are supposed to be continuity hires, and I don't feel like I watched the Lions. The Packers, I mean, I think the biggest surprise that I have that I want to question if it's true or not is the run defense for the Packers. They bottled up a really good rushing offense, and I don't know how much that's new pieces on the Detroit offensive line, but minus Kenny Clark, they defended the run just fine. 22 carries for 46 yards for Detroit.
Minnesota, big comeback against Chicago. Was there a bigger split in week 1 for you than Ben Johnson opening script Caleb Williams versus not opening script Ben Johnson Caleb Williams?
It's the biggest difference in the league. Got work to do.
I think that's where Minnesota comes roaring back. McCarthy makes the big plays late. Kind of felt like a Michigan Wolverines JJ McCarthy game, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the context here, you missed all last year. It's his first game, right?
Yeah.
I was impressed at how he kind of rallied and kind of did the JJ McCarthy thing late. It was cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, Chicago, I think, has a lot to build on, but they weren't efficient in a lot of ways. I mean, they were 3 of 13 on 3rd and 4th downs. You get off the opening script and there's plays to be made where Caleb's just not putting the ball in the right spot with the right feel for the receivers, or he's putting the ball out of bounds. Chicago can hang the banner for having really aggressive training camp practices. They had 12 penalties for 127 yards. We've started talking about Philly and penalties. We can end talking about Chicago and penalties. 127 yards in penalties is a lot. So you want to play a physical brand of football, an aggressive brand of football. But that's half the yards that Minnesota had. 254 yards of offense, and Chicago gave up 127 yards in penalties. It's an extra 50% in yardage in penalties by Chicago.
Truth, Kevin O'Connell is the best one-score game coach in the NFL right now.
Kevin O'Connell might be the best overall coach in the NFL right now.
He's unbelievable.
I'm very impressed. That's going to do it for us here today on the show. Kyle Crabbs, Joe Marino, we appreciate you guys as always for checking the show. Make it a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll be back again tomorrow to get you guys ready for week 2.